Good afternoon, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Let us pay homage to the Buddha before we start the class.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Today we have lesson 5 with Dr. Ng Yuen Yen, Ānāpānasati. First question, Dr. Ng, where should one place one's focus on when meditating on the mind?
Right. When you meditate on the third tetrad, you are supposed to experience the mind. And when you experience the mind, you just breathe in and out and just experience the mind. The focus is just to look at the mind. So wherever you think the mind is, you look at it. So after your bodily formations and the mental formations have been quietened down, have been tranquilized, the mind appears. Because of the 5 tetrads, of the 4 tetrads of the 5 aggregates, so the body is quietened down. The mental part of it, the feelings, the perception, and the mental formations are quietened down. Then the mind will appear. When the mind appears, then you look at the mind. Right. So the mind is described as intangible, that you cannot feel the elemental part of it. It is intangible. The body, you can feel it as gross. So the part that intangible part, you just experience the mind. So you experience it above your mental formations, and then after that you see how far upper level, and then you see what's the lower level and the side. So you experience the mind in its dimensions. So the mind can be experienced in 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, etc. So you just look at the mind and experience the mind in the step 9. You just experience the mind. So in the 4 steps of the third tetrad, you are experiencing the mind in these 4 steps. So there is no hard and fast rule. Where should I fix my mind? Where should I fix my focus on? You should just examine, investigate the mind, and don't sort of have a view on where should I fix it, So you just sort of like examine it for yourself. So this is what we talk about Dhamma Vidya, where we investigate the Dhamma. So the mind is there, you just investigate it. So for the 9th step, you just experience the mind. Okay, so you just experience, like you experience your breath, you experience your mental formations, you experience the mind. So you experience your coffee, you experience your tea, you experience your bubble tea, whatever you experience, you just experience it. So you will then don't sort of like fix yourself on anything. The mind is free, so you go and see where your mind roams. So this is, there's no hard and fast rule, but you must stay on breathing in and breathing out. It's because we are looking at the mind of breathing in and breathing out, okay, for the mindfulness of breathing. You want to know what the mind is like when it's just doing breathing in and breathing out. And then, of course, there are other aspects that you are to examine too. Okay, what's the second question?
Dr. Ng, thank you. What is the distinction between perception in the 5 aggregates and the view in the Eightfold path?
Perception and view. Right. Perception and view. So view in the Noble Eightfold Path, the Noble Eightfold Path is the understanding. So right view is right understanding. So this right view and right understanding is, what is this right understanding and right view? When you are looking at any situation, you must have the Noble Eightfold Path foremost in the mind. That means you must have the right view. That means you have this view that wherever a problem you approach, you will approach it from the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. Because you are walking the Noble Eightfold Path, so you want to be having this view of the Four Noble Truths. So this view of the Four Noble Truths is foremost in your mind. So whatever you do, you want to ask yourself, will it cause suffering? Because the right understanding and the right view is about the Four Noble Truths. So it's about suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path to the end of suffering. So let's say, what is the view? So if you are going to social gathering, you said that it will cause you suffering. So you don't go, because now it's not a safe period. So this is like you have this view in mind. Do you want to go for something, that may cause you to suffer from COVID? Then you say you will rather not go. So you seclude yourself. So this is safe at home. So this is called right understanding and right view of the Noble Eightfold Path. Perception is just seeing, contacting. So you contact. When you contact something, you will have a feeling, and this feeling will give you a perception, and perception will give you mental formation. When you contact something, you fear. The first time you contact with something, the eye object, or the ear object, or the nose object, or the tongue object, or the body object, the first time you contact it, you had a feeling. Then you say they're pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Then, when you had this feeling, you file it away. That's your perception. You perception already, then you have a mental formation. When you have this contact, you will have a mental formation of that feeling and the mental formation of feeling and perception. So I say it again, when you first contact something, you will have a feeling towards it. Then you have a perception of it. Then after that, this feeling and perception give you mental formation. So when you sense something, you feel and you perceive. This is mental formation, so you're sensing it. So, but the problem is people think a lot about things. So they have a second thought, a third thought, a fourth thought. But the first occasion, you will have just a first mental formation. Your perception and feeling. So this is what you have when you come into contact. So this is quite different from right understanding. It's just a perception, right? So it's quite different, perception and view.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. When you talk about pleasant bodily feelings in the second tetrad, are you referring to the breath?
Say again?
When you talk about pleasant bodily feeling in the second tetrad, are you referring to the breath?
Okay. When we say body, we have a body, right? Okay, let's talk about the five senses. You have the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the ears, right? Huh? And then you have the body. So this is the body. This is the body. So this is the body that we're talking about. So we want to ask you to experience the bodily sensation. This is the bodily sensation. So some people will say, this is like the jar. Our body is like a jar, right? So you, and the feelings that you have, the Buddha said is like raindrops. So we feel the body, the superficial part of our body. So this is the body that we are talking about. We said that we feel the bodily sensation, right? You feel the breath is you feel the air. Breathing in and breathing out, you feel the air. So if you are contacting on your breathing is the air. Whereas now we're contacting the feeling of the body. So we are talking about the body. This is the body that we are talking about. This in pink and blue. This is the bodily sensation. So some people will feel tingling movements. Some people will feel itchy movements, but it is of the skin, or they feel a vibratory movements. So this is the bodily sensation, not of the breath, of the body. Okay?
The same person asked, in some meditation practice, they talk about nimitta. May I know if nimitta is applicable to any of the 16 steps of Ānāpānasati? If so, which step is one likely to experience nimitta?
Okay, so we are not doing samatha practice, and in this whole sutta, you did not read the word called nimitta here, so we shall not talk about nimitta. So we don't want to confuse something that is not that is going to be a bit controversial, so I would not go into that. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. I don't think there's any more questions, so we can go to lesson 5. Thank you.
So this lesson 5, we are going to talk about the fourth tetrad. The fourth tetrad, the first step is to contemplate impermanence, contemplate fading, contemplate cessation, and contemplate release. So it's anicca, viraga, nirodha, and bodhisattva. Anicca means impermanence. Viraga means here is fading. But the actual Pali word means dispassion. Then nirodha means cessation. And bodhisattva means release. Okay? So this is what we are going to do. Contemplate means you just look and contemplate on the different aspects, on the body, the feelings, the mental formations, which is the feelings, and then of the mind. We'll just go through that very slowly. Okay. Now, that's the main part of it. Now we go to these two suttas, which I want to introduce to enhance your practice. Now, the Buddha talked about these 16 steps. And we know that the Buddha always teach with this in mind. And what he taught in mind is right speech. Okay? Right speech which is true, correct, okay, beneficial, welcoming, and agreeable. Now, in all the 16 steps of Ānāpānasati, the whole of this, it is true because it's taught about the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths is anicca, okay, viraga, nirodha, vasoga. Suffering and the end of suffering. It is correct. It is beneficial. It's welcoming. It's agreeable. In nowhere in the 16 steps, the Buddha used the word pain. Do you notice that in all the 16 steps, he only say is pleasant bodily sensation. And it is a pleasant mental sensation. And then he says, quiet down the bodily and the mental formations. And then he goes on to say, gladden the mind. Concentrate on the mind. And then liberate the mind. All these are pleasant, true, correct, beneficial, welcoming, agreeable. So when people talk about pain, etc., the Buddha tried to tell you, do these 16 steps. It will not give you pain if you focus your mind on the contact only of breathing. So we talk again and again, contact will give you a feeling. Now, let's say contacting, breathing the air element is pleasant. You feel breeze? Do you feel pleasant when the breeze blows on you? It's pleasant. So you can see that his 16 steps are all about pleasant, and pleasant throughout. So why did we have problems? Why do we have problems with mindfulness of breathing? Because we are not contacting breathing. We are contacting our 108 kinds of feelings. So we have to focus on breathing. Right? Why in this particular sutta, the Buddha talked about 108 kinds of feelings? So what are the kinds of feelings? The kinds of feelings, there are two kinds of feelings. This is of the mind and body. Three kinds of feelings about pleasant, unpleasant, and of neither. Then there are 5 kinds of feelings. These 5 kinds of feeling is pleasant, unpleasant, and then happiness of the mind, unhappiness of the mind, and then equanimity. These are feelings. These are the 5 kinds of feelings. Then we have the 6 kinds of feelings of our 6 sense base, internal and external. So it is this. So we roam, breathing here. This is supposed to be here. We are supposed to stay home here, but we roam the world. We roam the world of the 6 sense bases. Internal, external. This is internal, external. Right? We roam them. And we roam these 6 sense bases. We will have feelings when we contact them. Then he says, this 6 becomes 18 because it's 6 times 3. 6 times 3, this mentally is happiness, unhappiness, and equanimity. That means hue. Happiness, unhappiness, and equanimity. 18, 6 times 3. Of these 6 sense bases, 6 times 3, you get 18. And then he says, this 18, he says 18 times 2 give you 36. The home life as well as the ascetic life, or the homeless life. So now where do we have this home life? So as a lay person, we have to have concerns about the home life. Things in the house, etc., etc., our health, etc., etc., our town council, we have to pay all this, etc., etc. Then when we are practicing, we have concerns about the practice. So for a particular person, you have a lay practice and we have a spiritual practice. Then we think about our spiritual practice. So we have feelings that way. And when you renounce it, you can also think about your home life. So there are 36 feelings. Then of the 36 feelings, then you have 108 of your past, present, and future. Why can't we have like pleasant feelings all the time? It's because we have actually 108 kinds of feelings. And we are ignorant, no? We don't know that the feelings have flitted there, We are supposed to stay home at breathing in and breathing out. But because this world is so small, our mind will roam elsewhere instead of staying home at breathing in and breathing out. Our mind will go to the past. Okay? We don't know, it just went to the past clinging. All right, thinking about the future, but not in the present. Not looking at presently what you're supposed to do. So our mind is going back to the home life, worry about our family, etc. Or we think about our practice. So here we are supposed to do breathing in and out, stay home here, but our mind wanders. So we have 108 kinds of feelings. So you must be able to recognize that you have shifted. And that, hey, how come I don't feel pleasant? I don't have pleasant bodily feeling or pleasant mental feelings. So this is one of the reasons. So this is one to ask you to recognize your feelings. And most of the time we do not know because we are ignorant. This is ignorance of that we have like shifted our focus from our breathing in and out to something else. So this is what we have to look into also, the volitional formation. Then, because we are so distracted, right? So we want to say how to remove distracting thoughts in MN20. How to remove? So in this particular sutta, the Buddha teaches us that in order to remove distracting thoughts is to be able to recognize them. So he says there are two kinds of thoughts. Either it's wholesome or it's unwholesome. Okay, so the unwholesome one we sense desires, or hatred and cruelty. So the other opposite of wholesome is renouncing the sense pleasures, be kind to yourself and not be cruel to both yourself and others. So this is the wholesome thoughts. Now, MN20 tells us that there are 5 ways of removing distracting thoughts. And what are the 5 ways? The 5 ways is wise. So you must wise up. And to be wised up, he says, you have wholesome replacing the unwholesome. Right. And then actually the second is the danger. The dangers to have these thoughts, and when these thoughts will lead you down to suffering. So you see the danger of it. Then he says ignore. And the third here is stealing the formations. And then with energy. So you must use his method, wise, to counter the thoughts, the unwholesome thoughts. So he says wholesome replace the unwholesome. So you have anger, use your metta to replace anger. So if you have lust, you use foulness to replace the lust. Okay, that this thing is foul. Then cruelty, you have non-cruelty. Okay, karuna to replace the unwholesome, cruel thoughts. So there are whole lots of wholesome thoughts, generosity, etc., etc. So wholesome replace unwholesome. He says it's like using a small pack. to remove a big peg. So your unwholesome is a big peg. So you must use a small peg to unhinge the big peg. Then he says danger. He says you must think of this as a danger, like this is a carcass around your neck. You like a carcass around your neck? You wouldn't like a carcass around your neck. He says examples of snake or human body around your neck. Wouldn't you want to quickly take it off? So you want to think that, you know this, you keep on thinking that way, you lead you down to the lower realm. So you say, this is dangerous, or coming back to samsara again and again, hey, this is dangerous, to harbor such thoughts. Then he says, ignore. Ignore the thoughts as you shut your eyes or you turn your head away. So this is the way you ignore. Like somebody disturbing you, you just ignore. Shut your eyes as if you didn't see him, or turn your head away as if you didn't see him. So you ignore. He says, okay, shut eyes, or turn your head. Stealing the formations, he says, if a person is walking very fast, he says, why I'm walking so fast? Slow down. So if you're doing a lot of things, this, that, and other being very, slow down. How to, if you are moving so fast, means your formations are very fast. So you need to slow down. Why I'm walking fast? Or stand. Then stand, oh, why am I standing? Sit. If you're sitting, oh, why sit? Then lie down. So your formations are still. So when you quiet down your bodily and the mental formations, you quiet it down. So this stilling of formations is like the postures change. Then he said the energy where your tongue press against the palate, that you must beat this thought down, mind against mind. See who wins, right? So he said like a strong man, sort of like, put down a weak person. If he's so he used this strong man. So you must strong against the weak. So you must use your strength to beat down on these unwholesome thoughts. So when you are able to do this, then you will be able to stay home at your breathing in and out. So it's very important about understanding why you cannot stay home at your breathing in and out. What are all these difficulties? Because your mind roams in your sixth sense space. Although you may sit there, but your mind moves and there's an inclination. So there's this inclination of your memories, of your past, and your intentions. So you must be very clear about your intentions. So we will also look at intentions. And it's very important to do the concentration, because concentration is the knife. Okay, because in the Noble Eightfold Path, the last of the Noble Eightfold Path is concentration. So if you are not distracted, you become one-pointed. But you must do it only at the 8th step. You don't put the cart before the horse. You must do it only in the mindfulness of breathing, in order to do it for your own benefit. Now you see here, the Noble Eightfold Path, we have the right understanding of the Four Noble Truths. Then you have the right thoughts, you have the right speech, action, livelihood. And then the Samadhi part is right effort. This right effort is very important. No? In this sequence, it's very important. That means you want to remove unwholesome. And then you want to grow your wholesome. Okay? So this is the effort you have to do. So you must be, am I keeping my precepts? Am I blameless? So these are your effort, no? You have to weed out your unwholesomeness first. Then you apply your right mindfulness also on this effort to walk the path straight. Then when you come, you will have the right concentration because you are not distracted by pleasant and unpleasant. Right? Yeah? You can stay focused. You become one-pointed because you are not distracted. If you do this in here, thinking this would be the way to do it, the problem, the right concentration, this concentration may not have the guidelines of right understanding. So we do not want to put the cart before the horse. So you notice that in the Tetrad 3, the concentration is at the step 11, right? Huh? So it is 11, then the Buddha says, concentrate, right concentration. And he asks you to concentrate on the mind because it is in the Tetrad of the mind. It is important that the Tetrad is in the mind because it's intangible. If you put your focus, your concentration on something in you, in the body, you might disturb the elements. So you know this is samatha meditation. It's about outside. Even the elements that is outside. Green outside. The kasinas are outside. The flame is outside. So you want to start and you want to follow this mindfulness of breathing because it will eventually lead you to right concentration. So we want to do concentration as the Noble Eightfold Path at the end. After you have done your work, enough work, then you do your right concentration. Then you know whether this method is correct or not. Because right concentration not done properly can lead you on the wrong. So wrong concentration can lead you to the wrong knowledge. Because right concentration, this is the entire path. It will lead you to the right knowledge and the right liberation. But if you do the wrong concentration, if you put the cart before the horse, you say, I want to do this straight away, okay, then you might not have the right knowledge and the right liberation. Because the mind is not mature enough. So it is important that you do this right concentration at the step 11, as it said. So we cannot, so right concentration in Dikka 33, he says, so you have to do it, but you have to do it only at the, in the mind, because the mind is intangible. You concentrate on the mind, it will liberate. So it is this you want to concentrate on, right, for liberation. So he says, if you do concentration in Dikka Nikaya 33, Saṅgita Sutta, he says that you will get 4 advantages. You will have HKMD. H is for happiness, here and now. And then he says knowledge and vision. This knowledge and vision that you will have. So this is what you will have. Happiness, knowledge and vision. And that you will be the MD, doctor, no? Okay, MD, mindfulness and clear comprehension. Clear comprehension of what? Clear comprehension of this. So mindfulness is you paying attention, okay? But you will then have clear comprehension, knowing that every contact is anicca, viraga, nirodha, vasoga. And that you will destroy your defilements. So concentration, you have to do this because it gives you these 4 benefits. Happiness, here and now, your knowledge and vision. That means the true knowledge and true liberation. Mindfulness and clear comprehension, and destroy the defilements. So this is very important. And it is said in the SN 22.101, it says that sutta is called sheep, but I prefer to call eggs. He says if the hen don't sit on the eggs will not hatch. So you have to sit and practice. Otherwise, you will not hatch. The eggs of wisdom will not hatch. So it's very important that you do your practice. You may wish all you like. May I be liberated. May I be free from clinging. You can wish all you like, but you will not get it because you didn't put in the practice. So it's very important. And then MN25, Mara, this MN25 is called bait. If you do concentration, he says you will be out of Mara's hole. Okay, when you do concentration, you are blind Mara. Mara cannot see you. Okay, so this is very important that you practice accordingly. You practice in the steps accordingly. And then you read the sutta again and again. So I hope from this, you can see that his teaching, this is very beneficial, welcoming, agreeable, true and correct teaching. And that these 108 kinds of feelings, they are because, you roam your sixth sense space, even though you are sitting down, to the past, to the future, to the whatever, home life or the practice life, right? Then you see when you need to remove and focus, you have to remove unwholesome thoughts. Replace it with wise. Wholesome, you ignore, you quiet down, you exert your effort, and then knows that this is dangerous. So you can use all this to apply on one unwholesome thought. It doesn't mean that I only use one. You can use all this to pull you away from these unwholesome thoughts. Okay, now we shall start on our practice. And then I'll focus on some way whereby you can focus on just your breathing in and out. And that I want to show you the force of your intentions. So now we shall start our meditation. So you go to your place, make yourself comfortable, straighten your back, put your mindfulness in front of you. And then breathe in and out. Breathing in long, you know you are breathing in long. You must always be kind to yourself, be gentle. You don't have to exert yourself overly. Just be very gentle, soothing, breathing in long. You know you are breathing in long. Breathing out long, you know you are breathing out long. After some time, you notice your breath. Breathing in is short. You know your breathing in is short. Breathing out short, you know you're breathing out short. Third step, breathing in, experience the entire breathing in process. Breathing out, experience the entire breathing out process. be mindful of the beginning and the end of breathing in and the pause after that. Similarly, for the breathing out process. Step 4, breathing in quiet or tranquilize or calm the breath or the bodily formation. Breathing in, calm. Breathing out, calm. So for every action, you must feel the effect of the action. So when you say calm, then later on, you must experience the calmness. So there's a cause and there is the effect. You must experience or try to experience the effect of what you have asked yourself to do. Tetrad 2, breathing in, experience the pleasant bodily sensation. Breathing out, experience the pleasant bodily sensation. So the bodily sensation felt on the body, like on the surface of the body. So you may feel tingling, vibrations, itchiness, whatever, you just feel the bodily sensation. Step 6. Breathing in, experience the mental sensation, the pleasant mental sensation in the mind. Breathing out, experience the pleasant sensation in the mind. So previously it was bodily. Bodily is on the surface. Now in the mind you feel the sensation internally. Breathing in, experience the sensation internally. Breathing out, you experience that sensation internally. Continue to focus on breathing in and breathing out, that you perceive the breath as breathing in, and especially you can feel at the pause. So you perceive breathing, feel at the pause, then you can focus on just breathing in and breathing out. And you stay at breathing in and breathing out and not wander away. Perceive your breath in or out and feel at the pause the sensations. Don't wander anywhere, stay on your breathing in and breathing out. Keep your mindfulness in front of you, your face upright. Step 7, breathing in, experience the mental formations. Breathing out, experience the mental formations. Where are the sensations? Is it in the face, front, or the back of the head? Just feel those sensations. And see how they move. As strong winds or gentle winds, where it starts and where it ends. Anchor yourself at breathing in and breathing out, and still watch those sensations moving. Don't let your mind wander to memories or intentions. Just stay in the breathing in and breathing out. Again, notice that you are perceiving breathing in and breathing out. And then the last step is it calm the mental formations. When you say calm, you must experience the calming effect. Breathing in, calm the sensations. Breathing out, you calm the sensations or the mental formations. After you calm the mental formations, you will be at step 9. Breathing in, experience the mind. It will appear before you. Breathing out, experience the mind. Breathing in, just savor the mind. Breathing out, just savor the mind. You keep your mind on the breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, experience the mind. Breathing out, experience the mind. The mind naturally gets gladdened, but it is not glad enough. You can now check on intentions. Breathing in, just intend to intend. And experience whatever comes up, just your intent to have intention. So we go to step 10. Now you experience what is intention. Now the intention is gladdening the mind. So breathing in, gladden the mind, be glad. And you experience in your mind what happens when you say, be glad. Look at the volitional formation of be glad and how it moves and uplifts the mind. Does it lift the mind? Breathing out, be glad. And you notice that when you do that, all the rough edges of mental formations get smoothened out. So you have a gladdened sensation, volitional formation, mental formation. Notice what it does to the mind. Does it lift it up? Breathing in, be glad. Breathing out, be glad. So you can choose to be happy. It's an intention, and it will soften whatever mental formations within, gladdening the mind in that way, and uplifts it. Keep your focus on the breathing in and breathing out and experience the gladdened mind. Don't move anywhere. For every instruction you give the mind, you must feel this effect thoroughly. Now we go on to the next step, 11th. Breathing in, concentrate. So your intention is to concentrate. Concentrate on the mind. Whatever that's before you, just concentrate on it. Breathing out, concentrate. Breathing in, in concentrate, see the effects of just concentrate, just one touch on the mind. Breathing in, concentrate. Experience the concentration in the pause of the breath. The pauses of the breath is a very useful way of experiencing the effects of whatever instructions you give. Everything has to be done gently, no force. You can check out the quality of concentration, the characteristics of concentration for yourself. can concentrate and see where the mind goes. Then we do step 12. Breathing in, you can say liberate the mind. You give the instruction, you see what it goes, what it does. You give the instruction again, breathing out, liberate the mind, and experience it. So we go on to the fourth tetrad. Breathing in, contemplate, impermanence. You can choose the breath. Or feelings. What speaks to you? You can check the breath. Can you see it as impermanent, changing, in, out, never stopping, it's changing all the time. Shouldn't use the word never. Just say, see your breath changing, changing. In, out is a change. Contemplate in the beginning of the session what kind of breath it was, and now what kind of breath now. It has changed. The breath cannot be grasped. It goes its way. Check out your feelings. Experience the mental formations. See the feelings changing, the mental formations changing. It changes more than the breath, right? The breath, you can just see the breathing in and out. But the feelings are moving. One or the mental formations are moving, and they originate from whatever part and ends at whatever part. Feelings feel more impermanent because feelings are more intangible of the mind. The feeling of the body feels like raindrops falling on your body. Does it feel like that? The mental formations, do we feel like the empty banana trunk? As mental formations, as sensations move front and back, front and back. Does it feel like a empty banana trunk? And the mind, you've seen its changes. From the mind state which was seen previously to a gladdened mind, to a concentrated mind, to a liberated mind. So the mind changes. The Buddha says it's like a magician. How do you see it? So in the fourth Tetrad, the Buddha asks us to see the impermanent nature, its fading nature, its cessation and its relinquishment. So it has to be seen again and again, the Dhamma. So we end the session now. Feel the bum on the seat. Feel the entire body. Slowly take your time to open your eyes. So we can open for questions and answers.
Any questions for Dr. Ng? Okay, Dr. Ng, we got disrupted at the middle of the fourth tetrad.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just to see, so after this you can check out. Because once you have done the 3 tetrads, your mind is very sharp. So it's very sharp, you can see then you look again at the body, and then check out, is anicca nature? Is it impermanent? Each impermanent, it can be the breath, can be the posture, can be the activities. So it's not only there at the sitting. From now, you actually sort of like focus on everything. Like my body has sort of like moved from the sitting to the standing posture, and my hand movements are changing. So it's changing all the time. You can reflect on the impermanent nature of the body, see it for yourself. So it is knowledge and vision. So this gives you knowledge and vision of impermanence of the body in its various aspects. May it be the breath, maybe postures, activities, whatever. Even my speech, you see, my words have gone. So that's also impermanent. Feelings has actually changed. So I was saying that feelings, you can reflect the feelings as changing, and it seems to be even more changeable or more impermanent than the breath. Because when you notice your feelings or mental formations, I've asked how you experience the mental formations. So the Buddha used the word winds. The winds that come. So we don't know where the winds will come. You just breathe in and out and you just check the winds. And the winds may just come in front or at the back. You feel it in front of you or at the back of you. So you see front, back. So it's like empty trunk of a banana tree. So these are mental formations that can be experienced by yourself, and you experience it as impermanent. And the mind also, you can also experience the mind as it goes through the tetrad. You can reflect that the beginning and the end, the changes that you have experienced. You can contemplate or you can see it in action. That you see it as impermanent, that there are changes that cannot be sort of stopped or caught. You cannot catch them. So all these 5 aggregates, the body, the feeling, perception, mental formation, consciousness, the mind, these 5 aggregates are impermanent. So the Buddha has said in the lump of foam that the body is like foam, changing all the time. Feelings like raindrops, perceptions like a mirage. Mental formations like the trunk of a banana tree. And consciousness is like a magician. It's changing all the time. Like the Chinese, face mask keep changing. It's changing, changing, changing. It's like a magician. So they are empty and they cannot be clung to. But if you cling to this, you will have to use a tremendous clinging power. So imagine all these are passing by. The river is passing by with the foam. You want to try to stop it, you have to use a lot of energy. Right. So you can imagine the force of clinging. So this force of clinging is so unnecessary. Because it's a illusion, a delusion, to say that you can hold on to them, but they have passed by. So these five aggregates, you have to see them as they are, that they are impermanent and cannot be clung to. If you cling, you will suffer because you are resisting nature. Nature is impermanent. The laws of nature are impermanent and depends on conditions and it changes. So it is nothing substantial. There's nothing substantial in it. So we mustn't put some substance in it and create trouble for ourselves. Any more questions?
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Is it normal to feel the body or backache during meditation? Any reason why this happens?
So the question is that there's a backache, so you must sit comfortably, right? So you have to ask, is this a chronic backache or is a new onset? So if it's a new onset, then you might need to position yourself properly, have a cushion, sit upright, and then be comfortable. But if it is, if let's say this is a chronic backache, then you do not need to sit. It is very bad. You can lean against the wall if you have a chronic backache, because we do not want you to be disturbed by the pain. Because this is an exercise where the 16 steps are supposed to be pleasant. We don't want you to suffer unnecessarily. So you don't need to endure the pain. So when people ask you to endure the pain, then you have to check out which of the 16 steps require you to endure the pain. If you endure the pain, the body will release stressful chemicals. So you don't need to endure the pain. You just, depending on conditions, you shift accordingly, make yourself comfortable, right? And then go back to the breath. Sometimes when you're very focused on the breath, the position, the postures, sort of like, they sort of like, it doesn't matter because your contact is not with them. Your contact is fully on the breath. And the body just have this comfortable position. But if the body is not comfortable, it will tell you in form of pains. So you will have to adjust accordingly. Don't sort of like endure unnecessarily.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. I'm trying to catch the impermanence of thought, but I can't see any thoughts popping up in my mind. So I go back to see impermanence in the breath again. What should I do?
So if you do not have any thoughts, no need to create any thoughts. Just enjoy the thoughtless, part of it all. So we want to remove distracting thoughts. So if there is there, you see them as they are. So thoughts, you like seeing thoughts as looking at your mind screen. So when you see thoughts, see where they come from the right or the upper or lower, left, upper and lower, and see where they come and where they end. So you can check thoughts in that way. Sometimes you can check thoughts, especially when you lie in bed, you can see thoughts in its various forms. So if we don't encourage thoughts, we don't encourage mental formations. If it comes, it comes. So it's just, it comes and goes. That's why the Buddha says, removal of distracting thoughts.
So he actually went back to the breath again. When we breathe in and out at the fourth tetrad, we are also contemplating the four elements and letting go of the breath and the mind. Are we in the right path? Thanks.
So the breath is where you watch. Okay, so you watch, you're breathing in and out. So we say that when you do the different steps, you are to watch. So the first, you experience the mind. The second, I asked you all to gladden the mind. And also to notice the intentional force. So you experience the intentional force for the gladdening of the mind, the intentional force for the concentrating on the mind and its effect on concentrating. Then after that, you experience the effect of liberating the mind. Now these four elements that you talk about is of the body, not of the mind. So the mind is where you are at the mind. It is not of the body, but of course we stand where the body is at, which is the breathing in and out. We stand there because we have the mind and body. So we have the mind and the body. So you want to talk about the elements, then we talk about only the air element because we are breathing in and out. Right. So in the third tetrad, the elements, we are just doing breathing in and out. We are not contemplating on the elements of the earth, water, air and heat. When we want to contemplate, it is on the fourth tetrad. And when we want to contemplate the body, we can contemplate on the body elements when we do the fourth tetrad. And when we take the body and contemplate the body of the heart, when you sit down, do you feel any part? Heart, that is the solid, the earth element. And you feel any fluidity, is the water element. And you feel any heat, then that is the heat element. And you feel the air, that's air element. But when we contemplate this, we are contemplating on the body. So, must not confuse, the four elements are of the body. Right, huh? The mind is intangible. Right, yeah? So, we don't sort of like confuse. So you can read one sutta. The sutta is called What Brahma Doesn't Know. What Brahma doesn't know, I don't know what the sutta number, but it's called Dika Nikaya, What Brahma Doesn't Know. So this, what Brahma doesn't know. So this monk, he has such psychic powers. He went all the way to the heavenly realms, and he asked the realm, the four great kings, the realm of the four great kings, the devas there, and they cannot answer him when he asked, where do the earth, air, water, heat cease? They couldn't answer him. Neither does the kings. So each realm he went up. So he went all the way to the Brahma realm. And so when Brahma came, he asked Brahma. And Brahma says, I am Brahma, the best, etc., etc. But he says, I don't want to know whether you are Brahma, the creator, the whatever, the best. I want to know where did the elements cease? So you are talking about elements, right? Where do they cease? So Brahma says, it's your mistake to come up all the way here and bypass the Buddha. You should go back and ask the Buddha this question. And so the monk, quickly he went back and asked the Buddha. And the Buddha says, there is this land-seeking bird on a ship. And this land-seeking bird when on a ship, he will go and look for land. And then if he cannot find land, he'll come back to the ship. If he can find land, he will fly to that part. Aren't you like the land-seeking bird? You go all the way to the Brahma world, and then now you come back to ask this question? Then he says, the question is wrongly asked. It is not where do the four elements cease. It's where the four elements has no footing. So when the four elements are the body here is of the four elements. Where these four elements cease is when where the consciousness is bright, luminous, and signless. So he says that it's invisible, but it's where the consciousness is bright and luminous. So when the consciousness is bright and luminous, the elements, the body elements have no footing. So this is what it means. So the mind, the consciousness, not attached to the body, then the elements have no footing.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. We have a few more questions. I seem to be paying attention to the breath and feelings when trying to calm, but I feel myself physically nodding off. Is that too much calming?
So you feel yourself sleeping, right? Yeah. So, yes, if you calm yourself too much, so you sleep. So this excessive, so if you know that you are overly calming, you just move on to the next steps. Or you apply more energy. You exert yourself.
Can we contemplate impermanence of life instead of the five aggregates? If so, the feeling was sad and not pleasant.
Contemplate on life instead of what?
Impermanence of life instead of the five aggregates.
Right. So the importance is to allow yourself to mature to contemplation of life. If you cannot contemplate on the five aggregates, which is the basics, then when you look at the bigger picture, then you get sad. If you look at the component parts of life, the component parts of life are the five aggregates. So the five aggregates, the mind body, is made up of the five aggregates. So your whole life, mind body, is made up of body, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. If you look at it as the five aggregates, and don't look at it so much as when you're so attached to it. So if you break down, like for example, he says, if you break down your body and your mind into parts. So if the car is broken down to the body, to the wheels, to the engine, to the cushions, then before they are made together, they are just the parts. So if the car is made up of just the parts, you can know that there is nothing substantial in it. So of course there's a driver. So this body is just the elements, right? And then there is the mind, by its volition drives. So it drives. So we are just, this mind and body is driven by ignorance, volitional formations, and it goes on and on. So if you are sad, means you are attached to the five aggregates. So which part of the five aggregates are you attached? To your body, So if you attach to your body, they tell you your body is impermanent. It is, whether you're sad or not, it's impermanent. You are going to die one day. Everybody else is going to die one day. If you are going to be sad about it, then you would just bring yourself to depression. But if you see as a fact that everybody will die one day. So is there somebody that doesn't die? Is there a family who has no ancestors? So this part of it is like every one of us will die. So it's important to contemplate life. So it is a realistic contemplation. So these 5 aggregates are of the nature, and feelings and perceptions and mental formations, this of the mind. The mind is more monkey mind than the body, right? It flirts here and there. So it's impermanent also. So which part are you attached to? Which part of your feelings are attached to? So when you attach to somebody, you suffer, right? So it is the nature for that person to die. Enjoy the presence. You know that the person will die, then you must cherish that person. Don't make that person suffer. But don't make the person suffer from your clinging also. And that this moping around, that one day you'll die, etc., etc. But then to cherish, so we know that people will die, so we cherish when they are alive. So the being sad doesn't help, right? Doesn't help in your journey. So being sad only depressed yourself. But if you are being sad and fearful of samsara, that all these bodies will die, again and again and again. Why do you suffer again and again and again? So you're sad this life. If you don't get out of the samsaric cycle, the samsara addiction, then you'll be back again. So you actually want to counter your sadness is to see the 5 aggregates as empty, because at the end of it is just clinging to the 5 aggregates. It's the reason why we come back to samsara again and again. Because when we leave our body, when we die, then what we delight, we will land on it again. If you don't train your mind, then it is not tame. So it will go out and attach to what is attached to. So now we have to do training so that when you die, your mind is tame. So you say, don't go, it doesn't go. It ends then and there. So this is the training to tame our minds.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. We'll put 2 questions together because they're both on the mind. Please kindly explain again how one can gladden one's mind. Another question is, can you explain how to concentrate the mind? Do we do one-pointed focus? I felt heartache when I concentrated my mind. So
Okay.
One is gladdening and one is concentrating the mind.
So gladdening the mind. So when we say smile, so when you smile, you gladden, right? So it's a bodily formation. So you smile, your mind lifts up. So when you gladden the mind, you can, if your mind has, this is all perceptions. So if you have gladdened your mind before, if you have been glad in your life before, the mind knows how to take the file out. So what makes you happy? What you glad? And this has a memory. We have been in samsara long. So when you say gladden, it gladdens itself. So the volition to gladden is just, so this practice requires you to, it may be the first time. So when you have your own time, and then you do the tetrads slowly and you enjoy yourself. You go through the first, second tetrad, where your mind, where your bodily formations and your mental formations are quiet down. Then you see the mind. Then the mind becomes malleable. That means you are able to say, be glad. So it will do, because your mind instructs it, because volitional formations, our intentions to be glad is there in us. So all these actors and actresses, you know how they can put emotions into their face? So when we ask you, be glad, then you also be glad. You have the perception of gladness. And this perception of gladness, you know, this mental formation, because you intentionally want yourself to be glad. So then you feel glad. So it is just a practice. You'll find that with your quietened formations of the body and the mental portion, the third tetrad becomes easier. Then you do it, you just say gladden, and you feel the effect. When you concentrate, you must, so it's a cause and effect thing. You say something, you see its effect. If you cannot see effect, probably you have doubt. Can gladden meh? So the hindrances, so we don't know the 5 hindrances you may have. So you may have thinking of something. So there are 5 hindrances. So the 5 hindrances are lust, hatred. So you check out whether you have those or not. So you have like the lust, kamachanda, hatred, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, doubt. Probably you have doubt lah. Can meh? Can gladden meh? So you check it out yourself. So when there's a doubt, then it may become an obstacle. So you check out what are the problems. Right, so this is the question. What's the other?
Continuation. Can you please explain how to liberate the mind? My mind became light and expanded out of my body. Should I move my mind to explore the space?
Oh, right. So liberated means is liberated from the body. But so you feel that you are no longer confined to the body. So you don't feel the boundary. So in that sense, it is liberated. Right? So you explore whatever, you can continue to investigate and explore. So this is a technical way. So the Buddha says the mind is liberated, full stop, and then the mind is liberated by wisdom. So we do all these steps, liberation is just by the 12 steps. So another part where the mind is liberated means the mind is not attached to any of the 5 aggregates. So it's liberated by wisdom. Did I answer the second question just now, that one? Is that what was the question? Same, is it? Yeah. Okay. So 505. Any more questions?
Last one we will take. Last week, after completing the third tetrad, step 12, I continued with watching in and out of breath. I felt calm and soothing. After a while, a very sudden, strong vibration on my right finger, and I saw it breaking up, disappeared, and awakened by it. Please help to explain what happened for my understanding. Thank you.
So you say that you continue to, so after the step 12, then you experience your finger, what? Breaking
Vibrations.
Okay.
And then saw it breaking up and disappeared.
Right. So this is the see. So this vision you have. So how do you, so see and this knowledge and vision and knowledge. So this vision is your vision of your body. So your body, you can see this finger breaking up and becoming nothing. You see because you have deep concentration that the body is actually nothing. So the Buddha said it's a foam. But of course, you see it's just the elements only. You see it is actual nature. It breaks up. So you just see and knows that when you can contemplate on the impermanence of the body. So you would not be attached to the body because you've seen the body as it is. So once you see the body as it is, you are not attached so much to it.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. When a person dies, I understand from the sutta that the stream of consciousness moves on. With the training of Dhamma, one can direct one's consciousness. Is that how we put it, or can you explain it a bit on this? Thank you.
Repeat.
When a person dies, I understand from the suttas that the stream of consciousness moves on. With the training of Dhamma, or when the person is practiced, I think, one can direct one's consciousness. Is that how we put it, or can you explain this?
So the Buddha has said the five aggregates. The five aggregates. So what are the five aggregates? The five aggregates is the body, the feelings, the perception, the mental formation, and the consciousness. So we agreed, right, that upon contact, the five aggregates come together. So in the contact, we have the sense consciousness, we have the sense base, internal, and we have the sense base, external. So we also have the mind base, mind consciousness, mind base, and the mind base, internal, and mind object. So this is the contact. Upon contact, you have these five aggregates. So like we said about food, so when you talk about your favorite food, immediately when I ask you about your favorite food, you will think of that food in front of you, your feelings toward it because it's your favorite, the pleasant feeling that this is the food, and you have certain mental formations. After this you may get it, and this is all conjoined. They are all conjoined because you have to pay attention to the object in your mind. So this is the five aggregates. Now I say another object. Now, just in case June 2nd, they said we will have phase 2, right? So now you think of something else already. You plan at phase 2, I might need to do all these things that is opened up. So again, there are these five aggregates of the future. Now that consciousness attending to your favorite food has ceased. And then now we have that another issue, another mind object arising already. So this has ceased and another has arisen. And if I give you some more, you will also cease, arise. So whatever that is attending to this has arisen and ceased. Okay, I don't know which sutta you says that you referred to, but definitely the Buddha never says stream of consciousness. Okay, the Buddha never talk about stream of consciousness. And when they say stream of consciousness, the Buddha has in one particular sutta told sati the fisherman's son, the bhikkhu, because he says that it is this consciousness that goes from one life to another life. And then he continued to hold this view, so that he is called up by the Buddha, and the Buddha asked him, did you say that this same consciousness is a stream that goes from life to life? And Sati said yes. And then the Buddha said, you misrepresent me. So this part where you say stream of consciousness is a misrepresentation of Buddha's words. So I'm not too certain which sutta you read, but you can read this sutta here, this part here. We will give you the reference later to say that consciousness ceases. Okay, it's not the same consciousness that arises. Okay, it's a different consciousness. As long as you have ignorance, and you have volition, volition is intention. Intention, when you intend something, that means you have craving. So, intentions is, in other words, craving. You have no intention, you have no craving. So, as long as you have ignorance and craving, you will have consciousness. When your body dies, there is a rising of another consciousness. If you desire any of the realms, okay, you desire any of the realms, or you are attached to something, then that consciousness will go out and search for it. And once the consciousness is the arise, because there is an attachment, the consciousness will go. So the consciousness, the Buddha says, if it has a desire, it will go and contact. So this consciousness, when it contacts, so it will brings into existence. So this consciousness enter into another mind and body. So it descends into the mind and body. So if it's a human birth, it descends into that body, and then it then takes on the five aggregates. Five aggregates of those five aggregates. And then it will develop the six sense bases. It is a human. So in whatever realm, there are 9 realms, 9 abodes of beings. So as long as you have ignorance and volition, you will be reborn into any of the realms. So the Buddha says that there are 9 abodes of beings. So these 9 abodes of beings depends on your maturity. So depending on your karmic inclination, so you say karmic inclination, volitional formation is intention. So intention is karma. So as long as you have karmic inclination, you still have something, karmic inclination, then your inheritance is your karma. You will go where your karma brings you. Your inclination brings you. Right. So this is the karmic inclinations. So then that consciousness goes and descends, engaged with a mind, body, an embryo or something, fertilized egg or something. It descends, it takes, he engaged, descends, engaged, descends, starts a base and then grow. So this is how another existence come about. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. we shall stop there
Okay.
and let us share merits. Let us share the merits we have accumulated from this wholesome Dhamma activity, our meditation and listening to the Dhamma with all sentient beings.
Etavata ca amhehi sampatam punya sampatam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya etavata ca amhehi sampatam punya sampatam sabbe buddha anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya etavata ca amhehi sampatam punya sampatam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya.
Let us share our merits with our departed relatives and friends.
Idame nyatidam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyatidam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyatidam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo.
Let us close by paying homage to the Triple Gem.
Arahan Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Avivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamman Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sanghaho Sangham Namami.